Have you ever had that strange feeling that the world around you isn't quite real anymore? Like you woke up inside the same body, but everything feels different. The air, the light, even the people. It's as if reality itself glitched. You can't explain it, but something deep inside whispers you're not where you used to be. You didn't just imagine it, you just shifted. Quantum physics tells us reality isn't fixed. It's a mirror of your vibration. And when your frequency changes, the universe must rearrange itself to match the new you. That's why things feel strange, dreamlike, or out of sync, because you've stepped into a new version of reality, one that your old self can't quite recognize yet. You're not losing your mind. You're waking up to the fact that you create reality and you just crossed into a new one. The illusion of stability. Quantum physics reveals something that challenges everything we think we know about the world. Nothing around you is truly solid, permanent, or stable. The walls you see, the chair you're sitting on, even your own body, all of it is made up of atoms, and those atoms are not solid objects at all. They are mostly empty space, held together by invisible forces and constantly vibrating fields of energy. What you call matter is just energy slowed down enough for your senses to perceive it. Your eyes and brain work together to create an illusion of solidity, because if you could actually see the world as it truly is, a sea of flickering, pulsating energy, it would be overwhelming. Every object around you is like a wave in an ocean of energy, constantly moving, merging, and changing shape. Quantum physicists discovered that at the smallest scale, reality doesn't behave like the solid, predictable world we see in daily life. It behaves like probabilities, tiny bursts of potential waiting to be observed. This means that what you experience as reality isn't something fixed and unchangeable. It's something dynamic, alive, and deeply connected to your own state of being. So when people talk about shifting, they aren't saying that you physically teleport into another universe or disappear from one dimension into another. What's actually happening is far more subtle and profound. You are tuning your consciousness, your thoughts, emotions, and energy to a new frequency, and that frequency determines which version of reality you perceive. Imagine you're listening to an old radio. When you twist the dial slightly, the static fades and a new station comes through. You're still using the same device, but what you hear changes completely. That's exactly how your mind interacts with the quantum field. The universe is the radio. Your consciousness is the tuner. When your emotions shift, when your mindset changes, when you deeply let go of an old belief or pattern, you begin to vibrate at a new level of energy. And because reality is a mirror of your vibration, what you start to experience reflects that change. You may notice that people act differently around you, that your desires shift, or that opportunities begin to appear where there were none before. It might even feel like the world itself has subtly rearranged, but it's not the world that has changed. It's the lens through which you're viewing it. Your logical mind wants to hold on to the illusion of stability because it feels safe. It believes that things are supposed to stay the same, that life has fixed rules. But the deeper truth is that change is not the exception. It's the very nature of reality. Everything vibrates, everything moves, everything transforms. The desk in front of you, your own heartbeat, the air in the room, all of it is energy constantly in motion. When you understand this, you begin to see that you're not a victim of a rigid world. You're a participant in a living, breathing field of possibilities. The moment you shift your inner frequency, the outer world adjusts accordingly. So no, you're not moving to a different planet or escaping into another dimension. You're simply aligning yourself with a new version of the same universe, one that resonates perfectly with who you are becoming. Just like changing a radio station doesn't change the radio itself, shifting your consciousness doesn't change the universe, it changes your connection to it. The song playing is different, the feeling is different, the atmosphere is new, but the radio, the energy field that holds it all, remains constant. Reality isn't something you stand outside of, it's something you're constantly co-creating with your thoughts and energy. When you grasp this truth deeply, the illusion of stability falls away, and you begin to understand that life isn't about holding on, it's about learning how to tune in. You are a quantum observer. At the heart of quantum physics lies a discovery so strange and powerful that it reshaped how we understand existence itself, the observer effect. Scientists found that at the smallest levels of reality, particles do not have fixed positions or forms until they are observed. They exist in what's called a state of superposition, meaning they are everywhere and nowhere, potential and possibility, all at once. The moment someone observes them, they collapse into a definite state. In simpler terms, reality waits for you to look at it before deciding what it is. This isn't just a scientific curiosity, it's a reflection of how your mind interacts with the universe. You are not a passive observer walking through a pre-written reality. You are an active participant, a co-creator. Every time you think, feel, or focus on something, you are, in a very real sense, collapsing energy into form. What you focus on, you give life to. What you expect, you help shape. Imagine the universe as an infinite sea of potential, an ocean of energy filled with countless possible realities, some filled with joy, others with pain, some abundant, others scarce. Every thought, emotion, and belief you hold acts like a frequency, a tuning signal that determines which part of that ocean you align with. When you focus on fear, you tune into a version of reality that reflects fear. When you focus on peace or gratitude, you align with a version that reflects harmony. The universe doesn't respond to your words, it responds to your vibration. That's why your mindset matters so much. Your thoughts are not just ideas in your head, they are energy waves you're broadcasting into the quantum field. The field, in turn, reflects that vibration back to you in the form of circumstances, people, and events. You are constantly observing and shaping reality through the frequency of your awareness. It's like standing in front of a cosmic mirror. What you see depends entirely on who you are being in that moment. Think about how two people can live in the same city, walk the same streets, and yet experience completely different worlds. One sees only chaos, danger, and struggle, while the other sees opportunity, beauty, and connection. The environment didn't change. The observer did. Their perception collapsed a different set of possibilities into their experience. Quantum physics simply gives us the scientific language to describe what mystics and sages have known for centuries. Your inner state defines your outer world. This means that when your consciousness shifts, when your emotions, beliefs, and awareness evolve, the reality you perceive must shift too. It's not magic, it's resonance. You no longer vibrate with the old patterns, so they fade away. You begin to see new pathways, meet new people, and attract new experiences that match your updated frequency. The universe is infinitely fluid, and you are the lens through which it takes form. You are not trapped by your circumstances, because they are not as solid as they appear. Every time you observe, you influence. Every time you believe, you shape. The observer effect doesn't just happen in laboratories, it happens every time you wake up and look at the world. When you think, I am stuck, you collapse a version of reality where you stay stuck. But when you shift your focus and declare, I am evolving, you begin to align with a timeline that reflects growth and change. Your consciousness is not confined to your brain. It is part of the universal awareness that holds everything together. The more awake and intentional you become as an observer, the more fluid reality becomes in your hands. The walls of limitation begin to melt. You start seeing that you're not at the mercy of life. Life is at the mercy of your vibration. So when you feel yourself shifting, when things start to feel strange or off, remember, you're not losing your grip on reality. You're stepping into a higher role within it. You're moving from being a character in the story to being the storyteller. The quantum field doesn't decide your fate. Your observation does. The universe isn't happening to you, it's happening through you. You are the observer, the creator, the bridge between thought and form. The moment you realize this, you stop chasing reality and begin shaping it. The shift feels unreal, because you're between worlds. That strange, dreamlike feeling you get when nothing seems quite real anymore, when familiar places feel distant, when time feels fluid, when you look around and sense that something fundamental has changed. That's not your imagination. It's what happens when you're caught between two vibrational realities. You've shifted internally, but your mind hasn't yet adjusted to the new frequency you're living in. Imagine standing on a bridge between two islands. Behind you is the world that once felt familiar, the old habits, the old people, the old version of you. Ahead lies a new island, brighter, freer, more aligned with who you've become. But the bridge is wobbly, the air feels different. You can't quite trust your footing. That's the feeling of being between worlds. You haven't fully left the old reality, but you haven't yet stabilized in the new one either. Quantum physics can actually help you understand this. When you change your energy through awareness, healing, gratitude, or intention, your vibrational signature begins to resonate differently. The quantum field, which responds to frequency, immediately starts rearranging itself to match this new pattern. Old situations lose their grip, familiar dynamics dissolve, and new experiences begin to emerge. But because this transition doesn't happen all at once, there's a moment of disorientation, a gap between what was and what's becoming. Your conscious mind, which depends on stability and familiarity to feel safe, panics in that gap. It whispers, "Something's wrong. Nothing feels real." But nothing is wrong. It's simply that your old frequency no longer matches the environment you used to belong to. You're vibrating at a higher level, and your external reality is in the process of catching up. It's like upgrading your operating system for a while. Your apps might glitch, your screen might freeze, but soon everything begins to run more smoothly than before. During this phase, you might feel detached from things that once mattered to you. Foods taste different. Music doesn't hit the same. Conversations that once felt engaging now drain you. You may even look in the mirror and feel like you're seeing a stranger. This is because your energetic identity, the blueprint that determines your perception of reality, is transforming. The version of you that resonated with your old world is fading, and a new frequency is taking its place. Many people experience this as a sense of emptiness, loneliness, or confusion. But this in-between space is sacred. It's the silence between two notes, the point where the old vibration dies and the new one begins to hum. It's uncomfortable because the ego hates uncertainty, yet the soul thrives in it. The soul knows that this void isn't a loss, it's a rebirth. If you look closely, you'll see subtle signs that your external reality is already beginning to reflect your shift. Maybe certain people start drifting away while new faces appear unexpectedly. Maybe opportunities seem to arise out of nowhere. These are not coincidences, they are energetic alignments. The universe is recalibrating itself around the frequency you now hold. Think of it like water taking the shape of a new container. When you shift, your energy field changes shape, and reality must flow to fit it. The old form dissolves, and during that moment of melting, nothing feels stable. You might question your sanity or feel as if you're in a simulation glitch. That's natural. You are literally perceiving two frequencies overlapping, one fading out, one fading in. So, instead of fearing the unreality, relax into it. Let the old patterns fall away without trying to cling to them. When you resist the transition, you delay stabilization. When you surrender to it, the new frequency anchors faster. Trust that the universe knows what it's doing. The strange sensations, the emotional swings, the foggy detachment, they are all signs that your consciousness is realigning with a higher timeline. You're not broken, you're evolving. You're not losing touch with reality, you're gaining access to a deeper one. The feeling of unreality is your mind's way of telling you that the old version of you has expired. You've stepped into a new energetic template, and now your senses are learning to translate it. In truth, this phase is the bridge between illusion and clarity. Once the fog lifts, you'll look back and realize that everything you felt was proof that you were moving. You weren't falling apart, you were upgrading. The people who can't understand you anymore, The environments that feel foreign, they simply belong to a vibration you no longer inhabit. So when the world feels unreal, take a breath and remind yourself, I'm not losing myself. I'm stepping into more of who I really am. This is the space between worlds, the birthplace of new realities. Hold your center, stay present, and watch how the universe slowly reorganizes itself to meet the new frequency of your soul. The illusion of unreal is simply the universe updating itself one quantum vibration at a time. Parallel realities are real energetically. The idea of parallel realities may sound like something out of science fiction, but in the language of quantum physics, it's a natural consequence of how reality operates. At the quantum level, everything exists as waves of possibility, not as fixed, physical objects. Every decision, every thought, every emotion collapses one possibility into experience, while countless others continue to exist in potential form. This is called superposition, the state in which all outcomes exist simultaneously until consciousness interacts with them. Think of the universe as an infinite library filled with countless books, each representing a different version of reality. In one book, you made that bold choice you once feared. In another, you stayed silent. In another, you moved to a new place and started over. All those versions of you exist energetically, but your consciousness can only read one book at a time. The moment you align your thoughts, emotions, and energy with a particular outcome, you open that book. You tune into that frequency of existence. That's the reality you experience. This means that every time you change your mindset or emotional vibration, you are shifting between energetic versions of reality. You might not see a lightning flash or hear a cosmic boom when it happens. The shift can be subtle, like slipping into a slightly different version of your own life. But over time, the differences add up. The people you meet, the chances you get, even the way you see yourself begin to reflect the frequency you now hold. You don't need to travel through space to reach a new world. You simply need to change your vibration to align with it. To understand this better, imagine a vast field of radio stations all broadcasting at once. Each station represents a different reality, one of success, one of struggle, one of joy, one of loss. They all exist in the same space, but you can only hear the one you're tuned into. When you shift your emotional state, when you move from fear to courage, from lack to abundance, from self-doubt to confidence, it's like adjusting your dial. The music doesn't suddenly appear from nowhere. It was always there. You just became aware of it because your frequency matched it. Quantum physics shows us that energy responds to attention and expectation. When you focus on something, truly focus, with emotion and belief, you amplify its presence in your energetic field. The universe then mirrors that vibration back to you through events, synchronicities, and opportunities. This is not wishful thinking, it's energetic coherence. The frequencies you project determine the parallel version of reality you intersect with. So, when you experience a sudden sense of detachment from your past, or feel like you've jumped timelines, you're not imagining it. You've shifted to a version of reality that matches your inner transformation. This is why people who go through deep healing or spiritual awakenings often say, "I can't recognize my old life anymore." They're not just being poetic, their energy has literally tuned into a different frequency of the same universal field. Every decision you make is like a fork in the quantum road. But the beautiful truth is that you can always shift paths not by forcing your external circumstances, but by changing your internal energy. You can align with a timeline where you are healthier, more peaceful, more abundant, but that alignment must first happen within. The outer world is just a reflection of your inner vibration. The reality you call your life is the energetic echo of what you believe and feel most consistently. Even science hints at this. In experiments like the double-slit test, particles behave differently depending on whether they are observed. That means observation awareness literally changes outcomes. If that can happen at the microscopic level, imagine the magnitude of what your sustained focus and emotional energy can do at the macroscopic level of your life. You're not randomly floating through one timeline, you're steering your ship across infinite oceans of possibility with every thought and feeling you generate. When you raise your frequency, when you start vibrating with gratitude, peace, purpose, and faith, you're essentially saying to the universe, "This is the station I want to hear." The universe responds instantly because energy always seeks resonance. That's why you might suddenly meet people who inspire you, find opportunities that match your goals, or experience events that seem too perfect to be coincidence. You've tuned into a parallel version of reality where those outcomes already existed. Understanding this is liberating. It means you are not trapped in your current circumstances, no matter how heavy they seem. You are not a prisoner of the past. Every breath, every intention, every emotional shift is a new opportunity to realign with a different energetic path. The key isn't to chase the future, but to embody it, to become the vibration of the world you wish to experience. When you do that, reality has no choice but to reflect it back to you. So when you notice that things feel off, when your surroundings seem to subtly transform, or when life suddenly feels like a new movie with the same actors, recognize it for what it is, a sign that you've shifted timelines energetically. You're still in the same universe, but you're now tuned to a different chapter of it, one shaped by the frequency of your new state of consciousness. Reality isn't singular or fixed. It's a quantum field of infinite versions, all waiting for you to choose. You don't have to fight to change your world, just shift your vibration, and the world around you will follow. Parallel realities aren't imaginary. They are energetic landscapes that respond to the most powerful instrument in existence, your consciousness. The Mandela effect and memory glitches. Have you ever experienced that strange, almost eerie moment where you remember something one way, but the world insists it happened another? You could swear a logo used to look different, a movie line was said another way, or an event unfolded in a timeline that now feels slightly wrong. That unsettling sensation, the one that makes you question your own memory, is what's called the Mandela effect. And though it's often brushed off as collective misremembering, quantum physics suggests something much deeper might be happening beneath the surface. The term Mandela effect comes from the widespread phenomenon where thousands of people around the world remembered Nelson Mandela dying in prison during the 1980 seconds, even recalling watching his funeral on TV when in reality, he was released and lived until 2013. How could so many unrelated individuals share the same false memory? Traditional science attributes it to memory distortion, but from a quantum perspective, it could be evidence of overlapping realities, merging timelines, or collective frequency shifts in human consciousness. To understand this possibility, you must first grasp how memory itself works. Memory isn't a static recording stored in your brain like a hard drive. It's more like a living hologram, a field of information that your consciousness accesses and reconstructs every time you recall it. In other words, your memories are not fixed. They're energetic impressions that can change as your vibration changes. Every time you remember, you are literally re-observing a moment through your current frequency, which means you might be pulling that memory from a slightly different version of reality than before. Quantum physics teaches that multiple versions of reality, or multiple worlds, exist simultaneously, all branching out from every choice, every observation, every possibility. When enough people shift their collective vibration, the energetic boundary between these realities can blur. It's like tuning between two radio frequencies where you can hear both songs playing faintly at once. The overlapping frequencies cause interference glitches where details from one timeline momentarily bleed into another. That's why, in the Mandela effect, groups of people seem to remember a reality that no longer exists in our current energetic field. It's not that they're wrong or delusional, it's that they're accessing fragments of an old frequency their consciousness once aligned with. The universe is a massive, interconnected energy web, and human awareness is the tuning mechanism. When millions of minds focus on a shared version of the past, that version doesn't disappear. It continues to exist energetically within the quantum field, like a faint echo of a reality once lived. This also explains why certain memories feel so real, even when they conflict with current evidence. You can feel the texture of that moment, remember who was there, the emotions, the environment, because to your consciousness, it was real at the frequency you once inhabited. But as your vibration and the collective frequency of Earth evolve, your consciousness may have transitioned to a slightly different version of the timeline, where those small details, a logo, a word, a scene exist differently. You've essentially quantum jumped, and your mind is noticing the residue of the old timeline. Think of reality as a movie reel running infinite versions of the same story. Every small shift in your energy, a major realization, a new belief, a collective awakening, can nudge you onto a new reel that looks nearly identical but isn't quite the same. The Mandela effect is like glimpsing a frame from the old reel and realizing, with awe and confusion, that something doesn't match anymore. From a metaphysical viewpoint, these memory glitches are not accidents. They are signs of consciousness expansion. When the collective energy of humanity rises, the coherence between past, present, and future begins to dissolve. Time becomes more fluid, and the boundaries between parallel realities soften. You start to see how fragile consistency truly is, how reality is built, not on solid matter, but on collective agreement. What you call truth is simply the version of reality most people currently agree to observe. This understanding invites a powerful question. If our memories can shift, what else about reality is fluid? Could your identity, your relationships, your future, all be more malleable than you think? The quantum answer is yes. If enough consciousness focuses differently, entire timelines can evolve, merge, or dissolve. This is not fantasy, it's the energetic nature of existence. Quantum mechanics has a concept called decoherence, which describes how particles lose their quantum superposition when they interact with their environment, meaning they choose one reality to settle into. But what happens when consciousness itself, the observer, changes its frequency? The entire field of probabilities reconfigures. That's why a collective shift, say, through global emotional events, planetary alignments, or waves of awakening can cause subtle but widespread memory inconsistencies. We are literally collapsing new versions of reality together. If you've noticed these glitches in your life, the feeling that something used to be different, or that you're living in a slightly altered version of the world, take it as confirmation, not confusion. You are becoming more sensitive to how fluid reality really is. Your awareness is expanding beyond the old linear model of time and perception. You are remembering that you are not just a traveler in time, you are its architect. When you notice a Mandela effect, pause before brushing it off. Ask yourself, what might this be showing me about the flexibility of reality, about how my consciousness shapes what I perceive? Because the moment you begin to understand that your memory isn't betraying you, it's reflecting your multidimensional nature, you begin to reclaim your power as a creator of timelines, not just a passenger within one. Reality glitches, déjà vu moments, forgotten details reappearing differently. These are not accidents. They are evidence that consciousness is far more dynamic than we've been taught. They remind us that our world is not fixed in stone but written in waves, waves that respond to emotion, awareness, and intention. So, when your memories don't line up with the current world, don't panic, smile. You've just caught a glimpse behind the curtain. You've seen the edges of the simulation flicker. You've felt the fabric of reality breathe. You're witnessing proof that the universe is not a static machine. It's a living field of infinite versions, and your consciousness is surfing through them. In that realization lies true freedom. You no longer need to cling to one version of reality because now you understand reality is not one thing, it's everything. And you, the observer, are the navigator of it all. Each time your memory glitches, the universe is quietly whispering, "Welcome to the new timeline." Why your old reality rejects you. One of the strangest and most painful parts of awakening or shifting into a higher frequency is realizing that the world you once called home no longer welcomes you in the same way. The friends who used to understand you seem distant. The habits that once gave you comfort now feel heavy and meaningless. The conversations that once entertained you now drain your energy. It's as if you've outgrown a skin you can't crawl back into, and no matter how hard you try to fit, something inside you refuses to shrink again. This feeling isn't a punishment or a sign that something is wrong with you. It's the natural consequence of energetic evolution. The universe is built on vibration and resonance, and every person, place, and experience you interact with vibrates at a specific frequency. When your inner frequency changes, when your consciousness expands, your beliefs evolve, or your heart heals, the old energy around you can no longer recognize you. It's not that your old world suddenly turned cold, it's that your energy signature has changed, and your reality is simply recalibrating to match it. Quantum physics offers a fascinating explanation for this. Everything in the universe, from atoms to galaxies, is in constant motion, emitting energy. When two systems vibrate at similar frequencies, they synchronize, they resonate. That's why you feel comfortable around certain people and uneasy around others. Your energy fields are either in harmony or in friction. When you raise your vibration through awareness, healing, gratitude, or even self-forgiveness, you naturally fall out of resonance with environments that are still rooted in the frequency you've outgrown. That's when rejection happens, not as cruelty, but as correction. The universe removes what no longer matches your frequency so that new experiences can align with your growth. People stop calling you. Old opportunities fade away. The familiar roads of your past seem to close one by one. It can feel lonely, like being cast out of the only world you've ever known. But what's really happening is energetic pruning. The old branches are falling away to make space for new growth. Think of it like upgrading a software system. When you install a new operating system, not all your old applications are compatible anymore. Some crash, some stop running, some need to be replaced entirely. That's not a malfunction, it's progress. You've evolved beyond what those old programs were designed to support. The same is true in your spiritual and energetic life. When you begin operating at a higher level of awareness, you can no longer run the same programs. The gossip, the drama, the self-doubt, the cycles of fear. They can't function within the new frequency you now embody. You might notice that when you try to revisit your old life, hang out with the same people, do the same routines, it feels suffocating. You might even feel physically tired or emotionally drained. That's your energy field signaling that it no longer belongs there. What once felt like home now feels foreign because your vibration has shifted and your soul is craving environments that reflect your new level of awareness. This is where many people get stuck trying to drag the old reality into the new one. They cling to the past because it's familiar, even when it hurts. But just like a snake can't wear its old skin, you can't carry your old identity into your new frequency. The friction you feel isn't punishment, it's guidance. The discomfort is the universe's way of saying, you've graduated, stop trying to sit in the old classroom. Energetically, this process mirrors the phenomenon of quantum decoherence, where systems that were once synchronized fall out of alignment as their states evolve differently. When your consciousness evolves, the energetic coherence you shared with certain people or environments dissolves. You're no longer vibrating at the same wavelength, so the connection weakens. It's not betrayal, it's physics. Even your thoughts begin to rebel against the old patterns. You can't tolerate negativity the way you used to. You can't fake small talk when your mind craves depth. You can't pretend to be the old version of yourself without feeling an inner resistance. That resistance is your energy field, refusing to lower itself back to a vibration it no longer belongs to. You are being pushed forward by the frequency of your own evolution. And yes, it hurts. Growth often does. But the pain isn't there to break you, it's there to remind you that you've changed. You can't see it fully yet, but your new reality is already forming around you. It's waiting for you to stop clinging to what's falling apart. The universe cannot bring you what's next if your hands are still holding on to what's gone. So, when people begin to distance themselves, when your old world seems to reject you, take a deep breath and see it for what it truly is: divine reorganization. You're being guided toward the environments, people, and experiences that align with who you've become. Your new frequency is acting like a magnetic field, pulling new possibilities into your orbit. You may not see them yet, but they are already moving toward you, drawn by the new signal your energy is broadcasting. In truth, your old world isn't rejecting you, it's releasing you. It's making space for your expansion. The people who fall away are simply those who no longer match your energetic signature. They have their own timelines, their own lessons, their own vibrations to explore. You're not meant to drag them into your next chapter. You're meant to thank them for their role in your growth and continue walking forward. Sometimes, the universe will make this transition unmistakably clear. Jobs collapse unexpectedly, relationships end without warning, plans fail for no logical reason. It's as if reality itself is closing doors in your face. But in hindsight, you'll see that those rejections were redirections. The universe was steering you away from frequencies that no longer support your evolution. So, instead of resisting, trust the process. When your old reality pushes you away, it's not because you've done something wrong, it's because you're being pulled into something right. The old vibration cannot sustain the light you now carry. The structures built around your old identity cannot hold the weight of your new awareness. The rejection is the universe's way of realigning your energy with your destiny. This stage is the final test before stabilization. You are learning to walk alone in a new frequency, to anchor your energy so strongly in your truth that you no longer need external validation. Once you pass this phase, the new world begins to open effortlessly, naturally, and beautifully. The people you meet will understand you without explanation. The opportunities that appear will feel aligned without effort. The places you go will feel like home the moment you arrive. So when your old world starts to crumble, don't chase after the pieces, let them fall. Each falling brick is a sign that a new structure is being built on a higher plane. The old reality isn't rejecting you out of cruelty, it's bowing in respect, acknowledging that your energy has outgrown it. You are not being abandoned, you are being initiated. You're shedding the version of yourself that once matched the old world, and that process can feel like death. But what follows is rebirth, a brighter, lighter, freer existence that matches your true vibration. Trust this process with your whole being. The universe never removes what you need. It removes what no longer serves the frequency of who you're becoming. You are not being punished, you are being promoted. The old reality isn't pushing you away, it's making room for the new world that your soul has already chosen, stabilizing in the new frequency. Once the storm of your shift begins to settle, you enter one of the most delicate yet powerful stages of transformation: stabilization. This is the moment when your new energy, your new consciousness, begins to find its rhythm in the world you've just entered. The fog that once surrounded you starts to thin. You begin to notice patterns in this new reality, the way things flow differently, the way people respond to you, the way your emotions feel more refined, more transparent. But before this peace fully anchors, there is a sacred phase of adjustment, one where your soul learns to dance comfortably at this higher frequency without slipping back into the old one. You see, shifting realities isn't just an event, it's a process. You've tuned your consciousness to a higher vibration, and now the physical world, your relationships, your body, your habits, is catching up. In quantum terms, your energy field has already shifted into coherence with a new frequency of the universal field. But your mind and nervous system are still learning to interpret that energy. It's like upgrading your entire software system, powerful but sensitive. Any old program, belief, or emotional residue that doesn't fit the new vibration will begin to surface so it can be released. That's why, even after awakening, some days may feel heavy or confusing. It's not regression, it's integration. This stage is all about anchoring. Your energy is now operating at a faster, more refined frequency, and your task is to stabilize it so that it becomes your new normal. The key: is presence. The more you remain grounded in awareness through stillness, breath, gratitude, or meditation, the faster your new frequency becomes solid. Imagine you've just learned to breathe underwater. If you panic, you'll surface and lose your rhythm. But if you relax into it, trusting the process, your body adjusts. Reality works the same way. You don't need to force stability, you need to allow it. Every feeling of disorientation, every flicker of déjà vu, every sense that time moves differently, these are signs that your consciousness is syncing with its new environment. At this level, time begins to stretch and bend because your awareness is no longer anchored solely in the linear dimension. You might notice moments of synchronicity multiplying, like hidden messages guiding you through your transition. These are not coincidences. They are affirmations that you are moving in harmony with the quantum field. When you follow that flow instead of resisting it, you begin to experience what mystics call effortless alignment, a state where life unfolds with grace instead of struggle. Your emotions during this stage act as calibration tools. When you feel peace, clarity, and expansion, you're in resonance with your new frequency. When you feel resistance, confusion, or exhaustion, it's simply your system trying to purge the remnants of your old energy. The worst thing you can do is judge yourself for feeling unstable. The best thing you can do is rest, breathe, and remind yourself, I'm not falling apart, I'm settling into something greater. The universe is literally rewiring itself through you. Stabilization is also where your external world begins to rebuild itself around your new inner state. People who match your frequency start appearing effortlessly. Conversations that once felt draining are replaced with deeper, more aligned exchanges. Opportunities show up in perfect timing, and decisions that used to cause anxiety now come with clarity and calm. It's as if the universe is reintroducing you to reality, but this time, it's showing you the version that vibrates in harmony with your new consciousness. And yet, it's common to feel moments of nostalgia for the old world. You may look back at your past, your relationships, your routines, and feel both gratitude and sadness. That's normal. You're not meant to reject your old self. You're meant to integrate it. That old version of you was the bridge to this one. You don't heal by destroying your past. You heal by loving it enough to let it dissolve naturally. Remember, stability doesn't come from holding on. It comes from surrendering into what is. In quantum physics, stability arises when energy systems reach equilibrium, when oscillations settle into a steady frequency. Spiritually, it's the same. Your soul reaches equilibrium when your thoughts, emotions, and actions align with your new vibration. Every act of mindfulness strengthens that equilibrium. Every moment you choose love over fear, gratitude over complaint, awareness over autopilot, you reinforce the signal of your new frequency until it becomes the baseline of your existence. To anchor yourself, practice what might seem simple but is profoundly powerful: stillness. Spend time each day in quiet reflection, feeling the pulse of your breath and the vibration of your body. Speak affirmations that match your new reality, not your old one. Visualize light expanding from your heart, connecting with the greater field of creation. Eat consciously, move slowly, rest deeply, because your body is the vessel through which your energy communicates with matter. Treat it as sacred. You might also notice that as you stabilize, your intuition becomes sharper. The quantum field communicates through feeling, not logic. And as your vibration rises, you begin to feel the truth of things before you can explain them. You'll sense when something is right or wrong almost instantly. This is your higher consciousness, taking the wheel, a sign that you're no longer navigating life from the old program of control, but from alignment and flow. Stabilization is not about going back to normal. It's about creating a new normal, one that reflects your higher awareness. You begin to live from a state of conscious participation with reality, aware that your thoughts are energy and your emotions are creative frequencies. The difference between reacting and responding becomes clear. You no longer see yourself as a victim of circumstance, but as a conscious shaper of vibration. There will be moments where the old world tries to pull you back through fear, guilt, or old attachments. But if you stay centered, you'll notice that what once triggered you no longer has the same power. The noise fades, the energy stabilizes, the mind quiets. And in that quiet, something incredible happens. Reality begins to cooperate with you effortlessly. It's as though the entire universe breathes in sync with your intention. When you reach this stage, gratitude becomes your natural state. You start to see beauty in everything, not because everything is perfect, but because you understand that even imperfection has its purpose. Every challenge becomes a mirror, showing you where your frequency still wavers. Every success becomes a reflection of your alignment. You realize that there is no need to chase peace, because peace is what you are when you stop resisting life. To stabilize in your new frequency, remember this truth. The universe does not reward effort, it responds to coherence. When your energy, mind, and heart beat in the same rhythm, reality bends around you. Things that once felt impossible begin to flow naturally. Time slows down, synchronicities multiply. The more you relax into your higher state of being, the more the quantum field mirrors that stillness back to you. This is the art of quantum living, the ability to exist fully present in the now, aware that each breath is a conversation with the universe. You no longer feel separate from creation because you understand that creation is happening through you. You don't chase signs anymore, you become the sign. You don't wait for the universe to deliver. You realize the universe is responding to every vibration you emit. And so, as you stabilize in this new frequency, remember to celebrate how far you've come. You've walked through uncertainty, faced the void, and rebuilt yourself in alignment with truth. You've left behind an entire version of reality and learned how to exist in a new one. That's no small thing, that's mastery. So now, take a deep breath. Feel your heartbeat syncing with the rhythm of the cosmos. Let your energy expand without fear. You are home now, not in a place, but in a frequency. You've stopped searching for stability in the outside world and found it within your own vibration. The old world no longer controls you because you've remembered who you are, consciousness itself, eternal, ever-evolving, and perfectly at peace in the flow of creation. You've shifted, you've stabilized, and now you've become the still point in a moving universe. This is what awakening truly means. You don't chase reality anymore, you embody it. You are the observer and the creator, the calm within the storm, the light that illuminates the path ahead. You have arrived not somewhere new, but deeper within yourself. And that is where true stability begins. The final realization: you just shifted, and the universe is rearranging itself around you. When everything feels strange, when the people around you no longer seem to vibrate on your wavelength, when the world you used to understand suddenly feels distant and unreal, that's not the end of your story. That's the beginning of your transformation. You haven't lost your grip on reality, you've expanded beyond the version of it you once knew. You've shifted into a new frequency of being, and now the universe is moving like a living organism, rearranging itself in response to the vibration you've become. In this stage, you finally begin to understand that nothing was ever random. Every moment of confusion, every loss, every emotional collapse was the universe's way of preparing you for alignment. You see, the quantum field doesn't respond to what you say, it responds to what you are. And for the first time, you've stopped existing as the echo of your past self and begun radiating as the frequency of your higher truth. That's why everything feels unfamiliar, because you've never lived at this frequency before. This is the moment when the mind struggles, but the soul celebrates. The mind says, "I've lost control." The soul says, "You were never meant to control, you were meant to flow." The mind says, "I don't recognize anything anymore." The soul whispers, "That's because you're standing in the new world you once dreamed of." In the language of quantum physics, what you're experiencing is coherence, the alignment of your inner field with the frequency of universal intelligence. You've stopped vibrating at the level of fear, doubt, or limitation, and your new vibration has sent a signal out into the quantum field. That signal acts like a command. It tells reality, "Reorganize everything to match this new state." And reality obeys. That's why people disappear from your life without explanation, why opportunities you once chased now come to you effortlessly, why your old goals suddenly feel meaningless. The universe is not rejecting you, it's reconfiguring itself around your new identity. It's removing the pieces that no longer resonate so that new patterns can emerge, patterns that fit the frequency you now embody. Think of it like a snow globe. When you shake it, everything inside seems chaotic. The particles swirl, the scene disappears, and it looks like a storm. But slowly, the pieces begin to settle, not in the same places as before, but in new arrangements. That's what your life looks like right now. The chaos isn't destruction, it's divine reordering. Everything is being placed exactly where it needs to be for your new vibration to find equilibrium. During this time, synchronicities intensify. You might think of someone, and they message you seconds later. You might see repeating numbers, patterns, or signs that seem to follow you. These are not coincidences. They are feedback loops from the quantum field, confirming that your energy is now communicating clearly with creation itself. The universe isn't a distant, mechanical force. It's responsive, intelligent, alive. It listens to your vibration, not your words, and mirrors it perfectly. In this new frequency, manifestation becomes effortless, but not because you suddenly gained some magical ability. It's because you finally stopped resisting the natural flow of the field. When your vibration matches your intention, when your thoughts, emotions, and actions are coherent, reality bends around you like light through a prism. You don't have to chase outcomes anymore, you become the outcome. You no longer ask, when will it happen? Because you feel it happening already. You no longer pray from lack, but from gratitude, and that shift in energy changes everything. Your awareness itself is the force that molds the universe. The more conscious you become, the more the universe reveals its fluid nature. You start to notice that people act as mirrors, showing you aspects of yourself you didn't know existed. Environments reflect your inner state. Even time begins to feel elastic. Days blur, hours stretch or contract, because you're now living from the eternal now, the timeless center of being where creation unfolds moment by moment. But stabilization doesn't mean stillness, it means flow. The universe will continue rearranging itself as long as you continue expanding. Each realization, each healing, each act of self-love sends another ripple through the quantum field, rewriting your reality in real time. That's why spiritual growth never truly ends, because consciousness itself is infinite. The more you awaken, the more reality evolves to reflect that awakening. And yet, even amidst this profound transformation, there's one truth you must remember. Your essence has never changed. The frequencies, timelines, and realities may shift, but you, the observer, the consciousness behind it all, remain eternal. You are the still point in a spinning galaxy of possibilities, the silence between quantum events, the awareness that witnesses creation itself. When you truly grasp this, fear dissolves, because you realize you were never at the mercy of the universe. You are the universe, experiencing itself through form. You're not shifting through worlds. The worlds are shifting through you. Every time you elevate your energy, you call forth a higher reflection of existence. Every time you choose love over fear, clarity over confusion, presence over reaction, the entire matrix of reality adjusts itself around your vibration. So, if life feels uncertain right now, if it seems like everything familiar is slipping away, don't resist it. Breathe, trust, watch. You're witnessing the universe rewrite your story in real time. The discomfort you feel isn't chaos, it's recalibration. It's what happens when the quantum field updates your external reality to match your new internal frequency. You're not being punished, you're being reintroduced to yourself. The more you relax into this process, the more magical life becomes. You begin to see that everything, even the confusion, is working in your favor. The delays were protection, the endings were preparation, the silence was instruction. You realize that nothing was lost. It simply transformed to align with your evolution. This is the final realization. Reality is not outside of you. It's a projection of your consciousness. a mirror so perfect that it never lies. When your mind is chaotic, the world feels chaotic. When your heart is at peace, life becomes serene. When you radiate love, love meets you everywhere. When you vibrate gratitude, blessings multiply around you effortlessly. The universe has no choice, it can only echo what you are. And so, the secret isn't to fight for control or to chase the next manifestation. The secret is to keep your vibration pure, to think consciously, to feel deeply, to act with integrity, and to trust the unseen forces that respond to your energy. The universe doesn't operate by logic, it operates by resonance. When you vibrate at the frequency of peace, abundance, or love, you automatically enter the reality where those things already exist. Now that you've shifted, your only task is to align to hold your energy steady while the new world organizes itself around you. It may look chaotic at first, but chaos is just order in motion. It's the universe building bridges you can't yet see. You are not walking into your future is magnetizing itself toward you. In this understanding, peace arises naturally. You stop questioning the process because you see its perfection. You stop trying to manipulate outcomes because you trust your frequency to attract what is right. You stop fearing the unknown because you finally realize that the unknown is your creation. So, take this in deeply. You didn't lose your life, you leveled up your vibration. You didn't lose people, you aligned with new ones. You didn't lose stability, you found authenticity. Everything that left was meant to leave because it belonged to the version of you that existed before the shift. You've crossed the threshold now. You're living in a new energetic reality, one designed by your own consciousness. This is not the end of your journey, it's the beginning of conscious creation. You've gone from being shaped by the world to shaping it. You've gone from reacting to reality to generating it. You've gone from being unconscious in the field to becoming one with the field itself. You've just shifted not as an accident, but as an initiation. You've stepped into the version of reality where your thoughts, your emotions, and your energy hold creative power. The universe is not outside of you anymore, it's inside you, waiting to respond. So breathe deeply. Feel the stillness within you. You are no longer the person you once were, and that's the most beautiful thing that could ever happen. The illusion of separation has ended. You are the field. You are the frequency. You are the creator. And the universe, right now, is rearranging itself in perfect harmony with the new vibration you've become. So here you are, standing on the edge of something both strange and sacred. The world feels new. The air tastes different. Time moves in unpredictable waves, and your soul whispers truths that your mind can barely translate. You didn't lose yourself. You didn't go crazy. You shifted. You awakened to the quantum truth that reality is not fixed. It's fluid, alive, responsive. And you are not its prisoner. You are its author. Every strange emotion, every wave of disconnection, every memory that doesn't quite fit anymore, it all had a purpose. You were being prepared to see what most people never realize, that the universe is not happening to you, it's happening through you. The moment you changed your vibration, the entire field began to reconfigure, bending the rules of probability to fit your new frequency. The things that fell apart didn't break you, they freed you. The people who drifted away didn't abandon you, they vibrated out of your frequency because their energy no longer matched the new song of your soul. This is the beauty of quantum living, to realize that your life is a mirror of your vibration. When you see fear, it's a reflection of your own uncertainty. When you see peace, it's a reflection of your acceptance. The more awareness you bring to each moment, the more clearly the mirror responds. You are not separate from the world, you are the world, observing itself through the lens of your consciousness. Now, your task is simple, yet profound. Stay awake, stay conscious of the energy you carry, because the universe listens to it more closely than to your words. When you emit gratitude, you enter a reality filled with grace. When you embody love, the world itself softens. When you move with trust, the path ahead unfolds in perfect timing. The quantum field is always listening not to your complaints or your wishes, but to your vibration. Remember this, whenever life feels uncertain again, Uncertainty is not your enemy. It's the space where new timelines are born. When you find yourself in the unknown, don't rush to fill it with fear. Instead, fill it with faith. The unknown is not emptiness, it's pure potential. It's where new realities begin to take shape, waiting for the frequency of your heart to give them form. And if the world ever feels unreal again, if colors seem different, if time bends, if reality feels like it's flickering, smile, because it is. You're witnessing the universe in motion, shifting to meet the energy you now embody. That sensation of unreality is not a glitch. It's proof that you're alive in a multidimensional creation. You've outgrown the old illusion, and the new one hasn't fully formed yet. It's the cosmic moment between breaths, the pause between who you were and who you're becoming. You've stepped into a higher level of awareness, and now your only work is to live from it, to be deliberate with your energy, patient with your process, and trusting of the intelligence that holds everything together. Don't try to rebuild the past. It no longer exists at this frequency. Don't rush to understand every shift. Understanding comes after surrender. For now, just breathe, stay grounded, and let the new reality unfold in its perfect rhythm. One day soon, you'll look back on this time and realize that what felt like falling apart was actually falling into place. You'll see how every change, every silence, every ending was the universe clearing the path for the higher version of you to emerge. You'll realize that what you once called weird, lonely, or unreal was simply the texture of evolution. The truth is, you didn't just shift your reality, you became conscious of it. You awakened from the dream of limitation and remembered that the dreamer was always you. So walk gently now, but walk proudly. You are not lost, you are limitless. The universe isn't distant, it's responding. You are not waiting for your new life to appear. It's already here, rearranging itself around your every vibration, your every thought, your every breath. Welcome to the new frequency. Welcome to the expanded version of reality where thought becomes form, energy becomes experience, and awareness becomes creation. You just shifted, and nothing, not even reality itself, will ever be the same again.